The island country of Maldives has been a sensitive issue for India for a long time. Domestic politics have seen a seesaw of the diplomatic worldview, with policies centered around Chinese influence until 2019. However, post 2019 has seen pro Indian sentiment among the people due to the exploitative dominance of China. While the majority of citizens are relieved with the diminished Chinese influence, a segment wants a resurgence of Chinese oriented diplomacy, which is raising eyebrows from New Delhi to Beijing. This year will be extensively active for domestic politicians, making the upcoming parliamentary elections more interesting. Therefore, it is important to analyze the impact of Maldives politics on India, especially in light of the upcoming parliamentary elections. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Savita Mishra and this is TFI Post. In September 2023, the Maldives is scheduled to hold parliamentary and presidential elections. In the previous parliamentary election in 2019, the Maldivian Democratic Party (MDP) won a landslide victory, securing 65 out of 87 seats in the parliament under the leadership of Ibrahim Mohamed Solih. Due to pro-China sentiments, however, the political landscape has shifted in the past 4 years, with growing rift emerging within the ruling party MDP between the former President Mohammad Nasheed and incumbent President Ibrahim Mohamed Solih. In June 2022, Solih announced its intention to seek re-election, which led to a confrontation between him and Nasheed, both senior leaders of the party. The rift between them deepened when Nasheed, after being elected as the parliament speaker, expressed his desire to change the Maldives political system from presidential to parliamentary system of the government. In the Maldives, there is a mechanism to elect the party's presidential candidate. This intra-party election is called the parliamentary primary. During this primary, Nasheed described the poll as a choice between autocracy and democracy and accused Solih of rigging votes and bribery. Nasheed announced his candidature for MDP's presidential primary and officially launched his campaign in early December 2022. In late January 2023, the MDP conducted its presidential primary, marking the first time a sitting president competed in the party's presidential primary. Following his victory in the primary, Solih declared to his supporters that the competition is now resolved. Continued internal conflicts could result in the division of MDP votes in the lead-up to the elections. But Nasheed has not yet revealed whether he will support Solih after losing the presidential primary. On the other hand, the opposition coalition PPM/PNP nominated former President Abdullah Yameen Abdul Qayyum as their presidential candidate, but he was convicted in December on charges of money laundering and bribery, which disqualifies him from running. Yameen has until August 2023 to overturn his conviction and become eligible to contest the election. Meanwhile, the geopolitical activities of India and China in Maldives have further polarized the country's politics. The opposition, with Yameen being the Chinese sympathizer, has constantly targeted President Solih's close relationship with India. However, the current government has worked to strengthen ties with India, while Yameen and other opposition forces advocate for weakening or ending India's presence in the country, symbolized by the India Out slogan. Yameen has even threatened to terminate all agreements with India if he is elected. On China, the ruling MDP's Nasheed has accused Beijing of inflating the price of developmental projects funded in developing countries and regressed the country's participation in the BRI initiative under Yameen's rule. Maldives Finance Minister has also highlighted the lack of transparency in China's economic and development engagement with the country, revealing that he spent his first week in office reconciling loans taken by the previous government and the sovereign guarantees associated with them because the government was unaware of the exact amount owed to China. As the Maldives prepares for its upcoming election, it is becoming increasingly clear that the India-China factor is likely to play a significant role in the country's political landscape. For India, it is crucial that the internal disputes within the ruling MDP party are resolved, as the opposition has signaled its intention to shift away from the current pro-India foreign policy. And Nasheed's unhappiness could just boost that. Although the possibility of Nasheed joining the opposition is rare, his contestation against Solih will benefit the opposition only, and this could be a setback for Indian interests in the region. This presents a challenge for India as it seeks to maintain its strategic interests in the region while navigating a potentially hostile political environment. However, India has much to gain from a stable and friendly government in the Maldives. The country is a key partner for India in the Indian Ocean region and has traditionally aligned itself with India's strategic interests. India has provided significant economic and military assistance to the Maldives over the years, and a pro-Indian government in the Maldives would be a valuable asset for India in its effort to counter China's growing influence in the region. On the other hand, a government that is openly hostile to India could provide China with an opportunity to expand its reach in the archipelago nation. China has been aggressively pursuing its interests in the Indian Ocean region, and a Maldives government that is more receptive to Chinese overtures could potentially undermine India's strategic position in the region. As such, India must remain vigilant and engaged in the political developments in the Maldives, even as it seeks to avoid being seen as interfering in the country's internal affairs. India must continue to provide economic and military assistance to the Maldives while also engaging in strategic outreach to the country's political leadership. Ultimately, the success of Indian foreign policy in the Maldives will depend on the outcome of the upcoming election and the ability of the government formed thereafter to balance the interests of both India and China.